Hello, I'm Luna, an astrologer and tarot reader of over 8 years. I have had the joy of guiding over 1,000 clients all over the world on their own personal astrological journeys. And today we're going to be talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. We want to know, what's going on with these two? Are they endgame? Is this love story real? Is this PR? So let's take a look at their Synastry today. And if you would like your own personalized reading, you can head on over to my store. The link is in the description below. And I'm actually currently running a huge eclipse season sale, 20% off the entire store. A range of readings if you would like your own Synastry chart reading. Readings are just like this. It's just me talking to you about your chart in depth, about your relationship, your career, your love life, whatever it is that you want to bring to my attention. We will do a deep dive on that for you, astrology and tarot. So all of that is linked in the description below if you want more info. So let's take a look at these two. Inner circle in blue, we have Taylor Swift. Outer circle in orange, we have Travis. So her birth time is unconfirmed and so is his. So we're really going to be focusing on the aspects between the planets, which are basically all these little lines, these tell us things about their dynamic. So first thing that I'm really noticing is this sun-moon conjunction between them. Now this is a soulmate marker in astrology. What this means is that Taylor's sense of self, so this is her sun, her way of expressing herself, her inner vitality, is naturally compatible with what Travis is seeking in terms of emotional connection and safety. So it means that there is a mutual kind of giving and receiving energy that's happening between them, completely like, what's that word? Like unconsciously, like they don't even need to try, right? And so what this means too, it's interesting that this is Travis's moon and it is Taylor's sun, because the sun in astrology, it is a masculine planet and the moon is a feminine planet. And so what this means is actually that their energy is inversed. And there's actually another indicator of this here over here. They have a Venus-Mars conjunction, but it's her Mars. So again, her more masculine planet and his more feminine planet. And this means that there is a dynamic between Taylor and Travis where Travis lets her lead. Travis might actually occupy a little bit more of a follower energy in the relationship where he kind of lets her take the lead. The moon-sun conjunction also means that Taylor feels admired by him. She feels like she can be herself. She feels like he amplifies her light. Obviously, she's getting a lot of attention because of her connection to him. And I'm sure that he also, with Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is very expansive, it's very freedom loving, it's very spontaneous and fun. I'm sure that this is quite an adventure for both of them. And I'm sure she loves the attention of being with someone like him. Now, the other thing that's going on is this Venus-Mars conjunction. So this is another very, very positive aspect between them. This means that there is a lot of sexy chemistry between them. There is a natural pull. There is a natural compatibility when it comes to romantic and physical endeavors between them. So her Mars in Scorpio matches the intensity of his Venus in Scorpio. Men with Venus in Scorpio, they love dominant women. They love women who are strong. They love women who... they like women who make them feel like they're kind of powerful and they kind of are scared of them a little bit. So it's not surprising that Travis pursued her. People with Venus and Scorpio are drawn to power and they're drawn to, especially in men, like women who intimidate them, who lead them, who, it's a Mars ruled sign. So they love women who can also match their intensity. Now, again, this is her Mars. So Mars is a masculine planet. It means that she's probably taking the lead in this connection. She probably wears the pants in this connection and he's more receptive to her energy. All right. Now, this Venus-Mars conjunction is in trine, not in trine, in sextile to his Mercury. He has this Mercury in Virgo. This is a very grounded a grounded Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. It's the planet of how he thinks, how he processes information. People with Mercury in Virgo are very down to earth, very real, very they think, I don't want to say they think small, but they think practically. Kylie Jenner also has this placement. And people with Mercury in Virgo, Mercury is actually exalted in Virgo, which means Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect, is actually in its best position in this sign. So they're very intellectual, but they're not always intellectual in the bookish way. They could be, smart at whatever practical hands-on thing they do. And so for Kylie, that would be, beauty and business. And for Travis, that's probably football and, all that kind of stuff. And so there is a sense of really connecting a little bit. Like she probably finds him really sexy when he talks about what he knows, what he cares about, what, I'm sure she's very interested when he's speaking about his passion for football, what he knows about that stuff. But keep in mind, this Mercury squares her sun, which means that Taylor's a very smart woman, right? Sagittarius is the teacher. It's the mentor in astrology. A lot of times pop astrology makes Sagittarius seem like it's just this freedom loving, like jock archetype, but that's not actually true. Sagittarius is the teacher of the zodiac. It's the mentor of the zodiac. It is the guru, the wise one. And so people with a sun in Sagittarius, they actually really pride themselves on their knowledge. It's interesting. I think, what's his name? Jake Gyllenhaal, I think, is also a sun in Sagittarius. And there's a little bit of a pretentiousness to Sagittarius people, where they like to think they know everything, and they like to be really smart, and they like to show off that they're really smart. This sun square to Mercury means that he might not be able to keep up with her in that department. She might not feel like he feeds this part of her ego. She might feel like she can't teach him things, or he doesn't really look to her to learn. Or she can feel like, he doesn't even really fully understand what she's doing, to a degree that when she's talking to him about things that really feed her ego and feed her light and feed her ambition, he is listening, but maybe he's not quite grasping what's happening. So it's interesting that, Jake had that sun in Sagittarius as well. So they both had this kind of snobby, I know everything, like we're so intellectual, quality to them. So the next thing we have is this Moon-Jupiter conjunction, which again, this is also really positive. Now I'm going to get to the biggest red flag in this relationship because it's very, very big. But there are a lot of really sweet placements between them, one of which is this Moon-Jupiter conjunction. Now, Taylor is a naturally generous person. She naturally has a Moon-Jupiter conjunction, which means she has a really big heart. She's really appreciative, which makes sense, even though she's like super famous and she's so successful, she always seems so grounded. She seems like she cares about her fans. She has a connection to her fans that a lot of celebrities just cannot manage to do. And a lot of that comes from not only this Moon-Jupiter conjunction, which amplifies her nurturing energy and her appreciation and her ability to connect with her feelings, but it's also in Cancer, which is Jupiter's exaltation. It means Jupiter does really well here, because if Jupiter's the planet of generosity and of abundance, right, then it only makes sense with Cancer being the sign of nurturing, of safety, of home, that Jupiter would exalt there, right, to feel like you're completely provided for. So this means that, first off, she's a natural manifester and she's naturally really lucky and successful, but it also means that she has a really big heart, and when she's in a relationship with someone, she may have a tendency to overgive. Now, his Jupiter here is interesting because it means that whilst she might often end up in the position of giver, he actually can match her a little bit. His Jupiter in Cancer means that there's a reciprocation of this element. Emotionally, a lot of her emotional stability is tied to feeling like she is benefiting those around her, right? So she feels like she needs to be useful and she feels like she needs to be needed. His Jupiter is in Cancer, which means he is also naturally a very giving person. And this quality, this humble, optimistic, giving energy feeds her emotional realm. So what's interesting is that their luminaries are making a lot of contacts. It means that their egos are aligning. They kind of align in a emotional and practical sense. However, this is where we get to the biggest problem. There is this ginormous T-square in this chart right there. And this is really, really, really difficult. This would be really difficult in a long-term relationship. And it's because it involves their moon and it involves their luminaries and some of those outer planets. What does that mean? When the outer planets are in such, distress with personal planets, it means that there are a lot of very practical, environmental or real life problems that get in the way of whatever connection is happening between them. So taking a look at this, his Sun-Mars conjunction here in Libra, he is someone very charming. He's someone who's a little bit of a flirt. Sun-Mars conjunction people are very confident. They think very highly of themselves. They tend to be very popular, especially in Libra. This is a marker that was all over the Blake and Justin and Ryan charts that we did. They're all very, very, very charming people. Ryan has it. What's her name? Blake has it, and then Justin had a Moon-Mars conjunction, which is a little different. But again, there's this charm, there's this ability to lead. People want to lead you. People want to put you in positions of power. People want to put you in front of everybody, right? And so he has that kind of star factor. However, it squares her Mercury, which again comes back to these Mercury squares. What does that mean? If his sun, which is his identity and his ego, squares her Mercury, which is the way that she thinks and processes information. And her sun also squares his Mercury, vice versa. This is a double whammy aspect. This means that this is going both ways. They both feel like their conversations don't make them feel seen. They don't feel completely understood by the other person when they're talking to each other about what matters to them, about the way that they see the world, about the way that they understand the world. They're kind of hitting walls. And say, for example, if Taylor is really excited about something she's learned or something she's accomplished, she might not get the support that she wants from him, not because he doesn't want to give it, but maybe because he doesn't understand it. Maybe because his point of view or his way of communicating is too practical. And her way of communicating, although these two are technically in trine, it's conjunct Uranus, it's conjunct Neptune, it's conjunct Saturn. She's kind of a little brainiac, little mad genius. And she might think in very abstract, big ways that really don't make sense to his very easygoing relational quality. He's a little bit of a mirror, so he's a bit of a people pleaser in the sense that he can match people's energy, but he may struggle to maybe keep up with her kind of ingenuity, her creativity, and this kind of like very business, big thinking quality about her, which is a huge part of her personality. And like I said, they have a lot of soulmate contacts. There's the sun moon conjunction, which is a soulmate marker. Even this moon Jupiter conjunction could be like a husband and wife quality, right? Like moon is the wife, Jupiter is the husband, or moon is more like the mother, right? Jupiter's the husband, and it's in its exaltation. The moon is really happy in Cancer, and his Jupiter's really well placed in Cancer as well. But it squares his sun, and it opposes her Mercury. This means that they might have had conversations about marriage at some point or something along those lines. However, it seems like there's more of a, do we really get each other like outside of the love? That's really what it is. Sun moon is like, you really make me feel safe and loved and like supported, and I feel really attracted to you, but I also feel like you don't really validate me in terms of like the world, right? What did I say about the outer planet squares and like activations? Saturn is like, okay, this is the way my life is structured, and this is my values. This is the way that I think life works. And then Neptune is like, these are my aspirations. This is where I find, what I think is romantic about the world, what I understand that is spiritual and mystical and magical about the world. And Uranus is like her friends and her networks and like, her place in society. And it squares his sun and Mars. It means that he doesn't really fit into that very well. And he also feels like she is a little needy, right? The moon in Libra. He feels like he's trying to match her, but maybe he's better at being light and flirty, right? Sun in Libra, he's used to being likable at a superficial place. He might not be used to going really deep, right? He also has this moon in Sagittarius. So a sun in Libra, moon in Sag, sun Mars, he's a little bit of a jock, right? What you see is what you get with him. And she has this moon in Cancer that's really deep and needy and like fluffy. And she might feel like, wow, there really just isn't that much to you, huh? Like, where do you see this going? Like, for example, let's say if they were talking about marriage, right? This could be a marriage aspect between them. She would be like, okay, like, this is what I see for my future. This is like, the structures I live in. This is like my big brain analysis of like my life and the next 10 years. And he's like, oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds great. She's like, what about you? What do you think? And he's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get married and have some kids. And she's like, okay, that sounds great. But like, what more is there? Like, why would you want to marry me? Like, that's kind of, it's reminding me of like this, I think it's a TikTok sound where like a guy says, well, you're really pretty. And then she says, okay, but like, is there any more to it? Like, am I more than that? I forgot how the sound goes. So that's kind of what's happening here in this giant T-square. There's a fundamental misunderstanding between the way that he functions and the way that he operates in the world, and what she needs to feel fulfilled in the long run, and what she needs to feel, what she feels like life is really about. Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, like, how does she view the world? And they're not on the same page at all. Yeah. Those are pretty much the main aspects. Her Venus is also like really lonely. There's really nothing going on here. And people with Venus in Aquarius, they often fall for like the weirdo, tortured artist, strange intellectual snob, somebody who is really different from them, but also like, especially like women with Venus in Aquarius are drawn to like the misunderstood archetype. He's really likable, right? He's a very good looking man. He's very traditionally good looking. He's not a weirdo, quiet, loner, stoner, tortured artist. Like, none of those things apply to him. So her Venus is kind of lonely, which is not fun, right? Like, that's kind of sad. You would want to be like, oh, he's not like, I don't think he's her type. Essentially, that's what this means. Her Venus being all lonely out here means you're not really my type, but you make me feel safe and you make me feel needed, and I feel like you validate me a lot and you let me lead, and you're kind of easy to get along with, and that's pretty much where they're at. Okay, so let's take a look at their connection right now. We'll do some tarot, see what's going on between them. So let's see. His energy towards Taylor. Her energy towards Travis. Oh, that's not good. Between them. Okay, this is interesting. Oh my god. These are so hard to flip when I have my nails done. Okay, let's see. Let's put a little clarifier because first off, that's not very lovey. So let's see. So he's the 5 of Cups. That's not good either. And then, okay, we have the Sun on her end. Okay. Their energy right now feels a little stagnant. The Knight of Pentacles between them basically means that they've grown kind of used to their dynamic, and they kind of have it on autopilot. The Knight of Pentacles is like, nice and easy, like slow and steady wins the race kind of vibes. And the Two of Swords is also an indicator of indecision. It means that they're not really accelerating the relationship, but they're also not ending the relationship. So they're at a place where they're kind of like, okay, this is valuable, Knight of Pentacles, right? There's something to this connection, but there's definitely something missing. Two of Swords means I don't really know what's wrong, but something's wrong. It means I don't not like you, but I also don't really like you, which isn't a really nice energy to have between two people. On his end, the Two of Pentacles with the 5 of Cups, this means that he's been mulling over a decision. Could also be, and when you're dealing with people this famous, when there's this many assets involved, their brands are intermingled now. Two of Pentacles is a bit of a business partnership card, which could mean that maybe he sees value in their power couple energy. But Two of Pentacles also means he's indecisive. The Two of Swords is here as well. He kind of bounces back and forth between, okay, this is good enough. And then sometimes he's like, well, not really. Well, this would be a really good, strategic, stable thing to do. So he's in that space. The 5 of Cups means he feels like there's something missing in the relationship, but he doesn't really know what, or he feels like maybe they haven't been on good terms in a while. He's a bit dissatisfied or wanting more. On her end, the 4 of Swords is a really distant card. This is like putting a relationship on ice. It's like, okay, I'm just going to keep you around, Sun, until I feel sure about what I'm going to do. The Sun is a card of clarity. It means that she is reflecting. She's in a period of reflection about where to move the relationship forward. I think that both of them are feeling a little bit of distance in the connection, but they're also either not addressing it or not wanting to make any drastic changes. They're kind of just seeing where it goes. On her end, though, I think she's very close to having some sort of epiphany or like aha moment about how she really feels about the connection. Let's pull a few more cards. So his end. Okay, he's the Knight of Cups. Her end. We've got the High Priestess, and then between them. Yeah, so the relationship is in a period of huge shift. We have the World here, which could be like an end of a cycle, or they're about to reveal something to the world. Interesting. The Knight of Cups could be a card of like mulling over an offer, mulling over a big emotional revelation in the relationship. On her and the High Priestess, I think she's been kind of distant. I don't think she's been like revealing too much about how she feels to him. If there's distance in the relationship, I don't think this is something they're talking about. I think it's something that they might be having their own personal reservations whilst pretending they're good. The Sun is a card of positivity. The Knight of Cups means he's still pursuing her. And the Knight of Pentacles means, again, the relationship is still on autopilot, but they're both having reservations and maybe confusion around the connection. Bottom of the deck with the World, I do think they're about to break this cycle. So the Knight of Cups is a pretty good card. It means that if they have been feeling dissatisfied, maybe they're going to reach a place where they actually have a conversation and kind of get through this. I'm going to take a look at their transits to see what's happening in their connection and what might unfold. But ultimately, the Judgment card is a really big card that the relationship is about to hit a bit of a turning point where they have to get out of this indecision mode. Four of Swords is I'm checked out. Two of Swords is I'm not going to make a decision. Two of Pentacles is I'm confused. I don't know which thing to take. I'm kind of going back and forth between what I want. So they're in a limbo phase. However, that limbo phase is about to end with a Judgment card. It tells me there's a big decision that's looming. They're going to be forced to deal with the future of the connection. That doesn't mean they're going to break up. It could mean that they reach an agreement where they're like, hey, I've been feeling distant from you. That happens in relationships. And maybe that leads to a breakthrough of positivity and growth in the connection. Who knows? So that's what I'm seeing for these two. Let me know what you guys think. I really hope that you enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.